All right, everybody, we're going to get started now. So hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Intelex webinar series. So for those of you who haven't attended an Intelex webinar before, my name is JP Nadeau, and I work in the marketing department here at Intelex, and I'll be acting as your host today. So our webinar today is entitled Quality City, the Value of ISO 9001 and Quality Management in Municipalities. Facilitating our webinar today will be David Forget. David is the manager of quality service for the town of Ajax, Ontario, which is an Intelex client and was one of the first municipalities in North America to achieve ISO 9001 certification. So today, David's going to be sharing some of his knowledge and experience with us in terms of the challenges, benefits, and return on investment that stem from implementing a quality management system within a municipal organization. So just a couple housekeeping items to go over before we get started. Number one, just a reminder to close out any other applications you may have running to avoid any bandwidth issues that may affect the audio or video quality of the webinar. And number two, if you do have any questions for David, there's going to be a designated question and answer period at the end of the webinar. So please just use the questions tab on your GoToMeeting panel and submit them through that, and David will address them at the end. So at this point, I'm going to hand it over to David, and we can get started.
Thank you very much, JP. As you mentioned, I am the manager of quality service and special projects with the town of Ajax, and I've been with the town of Ajax now for 22 years. I got my initial training in the planning and development services department as a planner, which certainly was certainly great groundwork for me to get into the area of quality in terms of working with customers, working with council, working with a whole lot of players in the quality field. So I've been involved now for 12 years, specifically in the area of quality and customer service, and certainly almost the entire time that we've had our ISO registration. I oversee as well in my job a number of quality committees, which is our internal review team, which is a way of keeping the system in check. I'm considered the management representative of the quality system, so I'm the go-to person for documentation as well as any kind of ISO requirements, as well as our corporate steering, which is our top management group, and our document liaisons who are responsible for maintaining all of the required documentation within ISO. So just like to give you a really quick outline for this afternoon's webinar, I want to talk about my experiences with implementing the quality management system, specifically within the municipal environment, which is kind of unique. Talk a little bit about why the town adopted ISO registration, some of the challenges in implementing a quality management system, as well as, and most importantly, getting buy-in from staff to undergo a project of this type, as well as in finally talking about the relationship between quality management systems and improved business performance. So very, very brief outline about what ISO is. ISO is not an acronym. If it were, it would be the International International Standardization for Organization, which it is not. So that's always our fun little quality quiz, is what does ISO mean. It was founded in Geneva, Switzerland. It is an international governing body of best practices. Basically, all Canada, U.S., many bodies from around the world sit on this international board and provide input into the international standard. And I call it a body of best practice because really that's what it is. It takes into account interpretation of the standard, different languages, all of those kinds of things to make it the standard that it is. And it is in fact reviewed every 5 years. Certainly the premise and the base point of the ISO standard is its focus on customer service and satisfaction. In fact, customer service and satisfaction is written to every single element. There's 8 elements in the standard, and it's written into each and every one, so it's that important. ISO is also based on the Plan, Do, Check, Act premise of quality. It's certainly not native to ISO. It's native for a lot of quality models, but it's based on the premises that you plan for quality, you document your procedures in terms of how you're going to, if for a municipality, how you're going to deliver a service. You actually carry out the service. That's the do part. Then you check for the differences. So did the operating procedure meet the requirements of the customer? Was the customer satisfied? How did it work? If it did, great. You keep maintaining that. If it didn't, then you act on the differences and you implement those changes to involve continuous improvement. So it's a continuous loop. If you actually see it on a diagram, it's an actual circle. The current standard is the 2008 standard. For anybody that's registered now, this is our third version of the standard that we have been registered to.